Hi guys, it's Blackie. Okay, today I'm going to talk about a little bit of experience that I've had with these two bags. Now, one of the bags I've had experience with for 15 years. One bag I've only had 5 years. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the old bag first. This is a U.S. Army mountain bag, 1949 mountain bag. Now, for those of you that don't know, there was a Army unit in the United States military called the 10th Mountain Division. And they'd been comprised up and created during World War II to deal with high-altitude alpine mountain operations, because both Germany, Italy, and a few other countries had such specialized troops for dealing with extremely high climate, thin air, ski troops, that type of deal. And so we created the 10th Mountain Division to handle that kind of high job. Now, they carried some specialized gear because they were not your usual infantry. They had to be able to ski, they had to be able to snowshoe, they had to be able to be in basically Arctic conditions. And when you come forward into that during the Cold War, that type of training was spread out into a lot of other military units because of the fact of fighting the Soviet Union might mean dealing in Upper Canada, Alaska, Siberia, etc. So the need for this extreme cold gear rose to the idea of the mountain bag, because you had at that time the intermediate bag, which was your bag that was good down to 40 degrees. Then you had the extreme bag, and that took you on down to like 20 degrees or something like that. And then there was the mountain bag. Now the difference was the mountain bag was filled with down. It's got bird down inside of it. Now this is a standard United States Army sleeping bag. And they'll have across here on the top, it'll say mountain. Now I'm going to wrap this because I want you to see the color. And that's what always gave it away. The cover element of it was the same as the other two bags, and they were the same size. But the color of the material was what was different. And as you can see, it's a very light green. So, as you can see, the interior had a different color green. It had a different texture to it than the standard Army sleeping bag, which was more in this standard OD green color. And that bag was the mountain bag. And when I was coming up in bushcraft, witchcraft, outdoor activities in the 70s and 80s, that was the bag everybody looked for in surplus, because you could find tons of the intermediate, quite a few of the extreme, but when you found the 49 mountain bag, oh boy, jackpot, because it was the warmest bag that the U.S. Army had at that time for general purpose that you could find. I'm sure that there were special units that may have had even more advanced bags, but I never saw them or heard of them. But for a standard issue, the 49 mountain bag, down is what it was. Now it compressed down fairly well. It was extremely warm. And I'll show you the label right quick, so you know what to look for. There you go. Sleeping Bag Mountain M1 1949. And as you can see, I think I had a couple of feathers fluffing out. This one was in really good shape. I picked it up when we went to my gathering at that military surplus place, and it was 50 bucks because, hey, you get lucky sometimes. It is a full-size bag, and I have a lot of experience in a 49 mountain bag. I've got one that rides in my bug-out bag of my truck that has seen many severe campouts and weather, and it's got duct tape all over it from the holes that's popped up as the cover's given up, and that's the reason I picked this one up to replace it. What are its strengths? Well, extremely warm. You fluff it, sit there and shake it like you do with all down bags, and you fluff up the loft in it before you get into it. and then it seems to warm up to me faster than the other bags. And then once you do get warm, you stay warm. You don't wake up, at least in my case, with cold spots. You don't feel like your feet are going to freeze. The warmth just seems to spread evenly throughout the bag because that feathers and the lofty material. Disadvantage number one, don't ever get it wet. I say that, let me rephrase that. If it gets wet, you've got to dry it completely before you can really use it again as a sleeping bag. If it gets sopping wet, you can wring all the water out of it you won't dry it in the field. It's got to hang up and dry. And it might take it 2 to 3 days. Don't put it in a dryer, it will break it down. So, disadvantage, you've got to handle it just right. That's one of its major drawbacks, is it is the warmest. But it ain't necessarily the lightest either, and we'll get to weight here in a minute. But as far as a bag that was a standalone, it was my go-to extremely cold bag for a lot of years. And it was well worth the reputation of the 10th Mountain Division saying that it was the best bag they carried back in the day. Okay, the second big disadvantage, weight. This is nobody's lightweight. It gave you extremely good service. It was extremely durable. It was a great bag in the field as long as you kept it dry, but it is not light by anybody's sense of the word. But that was just it. It kept you from carrying much bigger and bulkier things of that day. Okay? Modern synthetics have surpassed this design. But if you find one of these bags in good shape at surplus, it's really worth it, especially for car camping, RV, ATV, something like that where you're not carrying it on your back. It's still a great bag, and I picked this one up because I wanted it. But now, how much does it weigh? Well, mine, as it sits right now, set to my little scale, £8 pounds. Yep, you heard me right. 8 pounds for the bag. And that seems like, to our ears, oh my God, you know, my whole pack doesn't need that much weight. And you ultralights, I fully understand where you're coming from. But you're going to be spending a great deal more modern money to get a bag that's lighter that does this performance. There is such things today, but there were not at the time of this bag. But it still gives good service. Now, the head-to-head, one U.S. Army current issue MS Sleep System. This is the patrol bag plus the black bag plus the outer Gore-Tex cover. This is what has effectively replaced this bag. How much does it weigh? £8 pounds. Actually, I think it's 7.5. So let's be clear on this. This is actually more compact than this is. Now, yes, there's a cinch sack that I don't have with this. I have one, but I don't put it in. I actually store it loose in a bag. And for this display, I took it out of the bag and made them equal, okay, rolled up. But this has got the black bag, the patrol bag, and the outer Gore-Tex on it. It's a much better system. Advantage, I can mix or match parts for the environmental conditions. I can drop down to the patrol bag. I can drop down to just the outer Gore-Tex cover, not even use a patrol bag if I don't need it. I've got a sheltering system in this because I can lay down in the rain and just zip it up and be relatively dry in it with no other covering. So that is a distinct advantage over the 49 Mountain bag, which water is its great nemesis. And this bag has a built-in drying system to keep it from getting wet. To have that Gore-Tex cover to keep it from getting saturated from your breath, and also getting saturated from the rain and outside. So that's a distinct advantage of it. Size and bulk, they're about equal. size and weight, they're about equal. But to be honest, I think the 49 is a little warmer. That's just me. And I've used both of these bags in extremely cold conditions. Now, I'm down here in the south. So when I'm talking cold, I'm talking like teens or 20s. That's cold to me. I'm sure where you're at, it's a whole lot colder. But I live in a place where the summers are in the hundreds. And you go months upon months upon months in the 90s and hundreds. So 40s is cold to me. So when you go down into the teens, that's extreme cold to me. So that's the reason I had these bags, to handle that kind of cold. I have taken this one down to a little bit below 17. I've taken this one down now to the 20s, but I have taken one like it down into the low single digits before and been able to sleep through the night. Yeah, it's a mother when you got to get up in the morning and climb out of it, but it's warm during the night. Disadvantage to the MS Sleep System: it's bulky. You can see the bulk is almost the same. The size is almost the same. Even with this pull down as tight as I can get it in that compression bag, it'll be the size of this. And the weight is actually the same. So, what are you gathering from this? So, in a head-to-head, which is better? For versatility, the MS Sleep System wins hands down, because I can mix and match those components. For warmth, I'm going to give it to the 49 Mountain Bag. It's actually warmer to me. It warms up quicker to me than does the MS Sleep System, which is all synthetic. And when you get into it, it's cold, and it takes it 15 minutes or so to warm up to you. I can, in the old downfill one of the 49, 5 or 10 minutes. So it's a quicker warm to that. So I have to get warmth to that. Bulk, they're about comparable. Weight, they're about comparable. So it comes down to, if I was going to be picking one of these two bags, and you're going to put me in a canoe, and I'm going to have to canoe 200 or 300 miles in Canada, which bag? That's going to be hard. Because the system with its Gore-Tex cover is superior for staying dry, but this is superior for staying warm. So I'm kind of in a toss-up there. I would probably take the MS Sleep System for its versatility in that scenario. If I was going to be car camping, motorcycle, ATV from A to B, no chance of getting wet, it's going to be nice weather, it's just going to be bitter cold at night, which one am I going to pick? The 49. I'm old, I'm nostalgic, but I like the warmth and the feel of a down bag over the modern synthetic more, and that's just my 2 cents worth. So, in conclusion, the 49 Mountain Bag was the stepping stone that the U.S. military really stepped up its game to having a extreme cold bag that was beyond what was considered the standard norm of the extreme bag. It was a downfilled bag. Those guys that were skiing and having to carry it preferred it for those kind of conditions, that kind of wet, that kind of damp, that kind of cold winds. That bag was the choice. When it was replaced by the MS Sleep System, did these automatically go away? They were supposed to, but I got this out of surplus in March of 2021. I went to the surplus place, was taking my group there because we did part of my gathering. I'm looking around, and the lady there said, "There's a bag I want to show you," because she knows I got a weakness for rucksacks and sleeping bags. And she took me over, and there was that 49. The minute I saw it, I knew what it was. So it's a 49. Excellent condition. And when I bought it, I got it home, I fully unrolled it, aired it out and looked at it, and between the cover and the bag was a little piece of paper that was part of something where that bag had been in Afghanistan in 2019. I mean, had been in Afghanistan in 2019. And the soldier was coming home with it. So as an advisor, as a whatever in Afghanistan, this bag, somebody carried it to Afghanistan in 2019. Whether it was their gear, whatever, I don't know. All I know is that piece of paper said that it was the name of the soldier, unit, and that it was his bag, and whatever that name is, Afghanistan. That's where he was at with that bag. So that bag was serving 2 years ago, because probably still some in ordnance, probably still some in surplus, probably still some in military stores where they can get to it. They're that good a bag. Hope this gives you an idea, guys. Please leave any questions or comments below, and do me a favor, hit that like, share, and subscribe button before you leave. Till next time, I'm Blackie, wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.